Alright, this is Weapon X Reacts and we're back with another video, and this is going to be a review of Nightcrawler. And to me, this is honestly one of the best independent films I have ever seen in my life, as it was just so well acted and directed. And I totally recommend you go check it out once in your life, as it's going to be an experience you will never forget. And I am just going to let you know that there will be a lot of spoilers in this review. I'm going to break down the plot of this film. So, Lou Bloom becomes a photojournalist and tries to sell footage of sensational and violent stories in Los Angeles to Nina. And soon, he turns desperate in order to stay ahead of the game. And if there was one thing I really liked about this movie, is that the story is so simple, but so well written at the same time. And it does such a great job at talking about things like the dark side of the American dream and media sensationalism as a whole. And I thought the acting performances were all just absolutely fantastic, especially from Jake Gyllenhaal as Lou Bloom. And to me, this is honestly one of the most realistic depictions of a sociopath I have ever seen in a film. And if there was one thing I really liked about Jake Gyllenhaal's performance, is that he does such a great job at portraying him as someone who has no sense of humanity. And when we first see him in the opening scene of the film, he starts off working as a low-level criminal who is trying to steal a piece of metal from a fence. And when he gets caught by a security guard, he immediately starts to attack him and steals his watch. And to me, it's a great introduction into the fact that this is a man who doesn't give a shit about the lives of other people. And this goes the same way, especially when you look at how he films his victims in order to get the perfect shot. And one of the most interesting things about him as a character is how he uses manipulation. And every time when he tries to communicate with other people, it all feels like a load of corporate bullshit. And the scene of where he tries to ask for a job at the scrapyard is a great example of that. And it really shows just how soulless and artificial he is as a person. Especially when you look at how he tries to pitch himself as being a hard worker. But it all feels fake and unrealistic. And after the owner declines his job offer, he takes it as if he just learned something new about human interaction. And to me, it really adds a lot to his character in a way. And as he drives off, he sees a group of cameramen filming a scene of a car crash. And it gives him the idea of becoming a videographer. Also, he can chase a corrupted version of the American dream. And the way in how he treats Rick and Nina throughout the film is a perfect example of just how desperate he is when it comes to achieving his goals, which he does at the end of the film. And I even heard that in order to prepare for the role, Jake Gyllenhaal had to lose a lot of weight. And to me, it fit perfectly with Lou Bloom's character. And overall, Lou Bloom is a perfect representation of the dark side of the American dream. And the fact that Jake Gyllenhaal didn't win an Oscar for his performance is really fucking dumb, as he made this movie even better than it already is. And he made Lou Bloom a terrifying character that will be remembered for a long time. As you just don't know anything about him. And that's what makes this film so fucking interesting. I thought Riz Ahmed did a great job playing Rick. And to me, this is honestly one of his best performances, as he brought so much vulnerability into the role. And the film does a great job of making him someone you can actually care about. Like how he is introduced as being a homeless young man who wants to do everything he can for a job, until he starts working with Lou Bloom. And if there was one thing I really liked about this movie, is that it shows how different they are from each other. Like how Rick is trying to do everything he can to survive in the world, while Lou Bloom is the complete opposite of that. Like how he tries to use his talents to manipulate people into doing what he wants, just like how he did with Rick. And I thought the scene of where he gets killed at the end of the film is a great example of how easily manipulated he was. And in the end, it shows that he was nothing more but a victim of his own environment. And overall, Riz Ahmed made this film even better than it already is with his performance. And I totally recommend you go check out Sound of Metal, as he gave one of the best performances I have ever seen in a film. And it really shows just how good of an actor he can be. And I even heard that he was nominated for an Oscar for that performance. That's a great example of why you should watch that movie, because it's just that good. And it was even written by Derek C. in France too. And this goes the same way with Rene Russo as Nina. And to me, she did such a great job playing her. The cinematography is honestly one of the main reasons on what makes this film so good. And I thought the use of lighting and color was just so well done, as it makes every scene feel realistic but gritty at the same time. And not just that, but it fits perfectly with the tone of the film and its story. Dan Gilroy's direction of the film was just so well done, and it really shows just how good of a filmmaker he can be, as he did such a great job at telling a story about a man who will do whatever it takes to be successful. And not just that, but it's also a commentary on corporate greed and the problems with the media as a whole. And to me, it's just something we just don't get from modern Hollywood anymore. And you can really tell that this was made by a filmmaker who actually gave a shit about the film he wanted to make. I thought the scene of where Lou Bloom breaks the mirror is honestly one of the film's best scenes, as it was just so well done. And it starts off with him being berated by Nina after failing on bringing in high quality footage from a plane crash. And then we see a shot of him screaming in his bathroom And the most interesting thing about the scene is that throughout the film, he is portrayed as being a man who mimics human behavior in order to get what he wants. Well, here, this is the only moment of where he shows genuine human emotion as his mask starts to slip. And I just want to say that Jake Gyllenhaal's acting in the scene was just something else. And to me, this is honestly some of the best acting I have ever seen in a film, as it felt so fucking real. And I even heard that he accidentally injured his hand after he breaks the glass. And to me, it added so much to his scene and his performance as a whole. And overall, this scene is a perfect example on why this film is such a fucking masterpiece. And I thought Bill Paxton did a great job playing Joe Loader, even if he wasn't in the film that much. And this is the rating that this film got on Rotten Tomatoes. So 95% from the critics and 86% from the audience. And I'm going to read out the reviews right now. So for the first one, Nightcrawler attacked the mainstream media and the global financial crisis and the social inequities that create an undereducated class of internet-only consumers. For the second one, much like the satirical network, Nightcrawler is a type of thriller that makes audiences think of things as the film goes on, frame by frame, into the Los Angeles underbelly late at night. For the third review, a riveting, rich, and masterfully assembled work of film noir. It's a gripping commentary, and visuals are only surpassed by Jake Gyllenhaal's tremendous performance. For the fourth one, Nightcrawler is simply one of the best crime films of the 2010s. For the fifth review, beneath Nightcrawler's outward critique of the media's desperate need to see and record human atrocity for mass ratings, there is a more disturbing character study about Jake Gyllenhaal's fantastic and fascinatingly played psychopath. And that is something I most definitely agree with. And as I read these reviews, it's nice seeing a film like this getting the praise it deserves. And to me, it felt like this is the only film I've seen of where the praise from critics actually felt like it deserved it. Especially when you look at how the film tells its story. And if there's one thing I want to say is that this is one of those movies that will stick with you long after it's over. And I thought the soundtrack was just so well done, as it fits perfectly with the tone of the film and loose mindset. And I'm going to show you an example of it right now. This film was just so good. And Jake Gyllenhaal, he proved just how good of an actor he can be with this performance, as it was just so compelling but terrifying at the same time. No one could have played this character better than he did. And it's just sad that he didn't even win an Oscar because his performance was Oscar worthy. It was just that good. But Hollywood, nah, they ignored it. Fuck the Oscars. They don't matter anymore. And him being snubbed is a great example of that. Just to let you know that the next films I'm going to be reviewing is The Brown Bunny and Good Time. From two great filmmakers like the Safdie brothers and Vincent Gallo. So get ready for those. The soundtrack is just so haunting. And the fact that some of the soundtrack doesn't even fit with the tone of the film, it actually kind of does. Because it shows Lou Bloom's mindset and how he thinks. And the music does such a great job in showing that. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard about this movie, I didn't even know it was that critically acclaimed. But yeah, it was a great commentary on, like, the media. And still relatable, even today. The media will always try and capture something just so they can get a good rating. You could say this movie tried to warn you. Because I remember my first review of this film, I didn't even really understand it that much, like it was saying a lot of bullshit. But now that I look at this film now, this film is a whole lot more deeper than that. And it's also a character study too. And if you haven't seen Network, I totally recommend you should, because that movie is really relevant today. But Nightcrawler is, like, way better. Dan Gilroy knew what he was doing when he made this film. He made a masterpiece. What the fuck? I'm going to explain the ending of this film. So, after chasing the criminals, Rick gets out of the car and ends up getting shot by a gunman. And as he lays down on the floor dying, Lou Bloom tells Rick that he cannot work with an untrustworthy employee. And if you actually think about it, all Rick was to Lou Bloom was just a tool he could use in order to achieve his goals. And after his death, Lou Bloom goes back to the studio and shows Nina the footage, which ends up impressing her. And as the police try to confiscate the footage, Nina immediately starts airing it on global television. And then we see Lou Bloom having a conversation with Detective Fontieri about how he was being followed. But as she immediately accuses him of lacking evidence, he mocks him. And can I just say, the actress who played Detective Fontieri did a great job in the role. And as the film ends, with him trying to expand his business after becoming successful, he tells his employees that they will not do anything that he would do. And to me, this was a perfect ending to a film like this, as it shows that this is a society of where ambition is the only thing that matters to people. And the fact that he became successful even if he is a psychopath is a perfect example of that. I'm gonna show you the trailers of this film, starting with the first one.
Excuse me, sir. I'm looking for a job. I'm a hard worker. I set high goals. My motto is, if you want to win the lottery, you have to make the money to buy a ticket. So what do you say? I could start tomorrow, or even why not tonight? How about hiring? Well, first, go around, get a shot inside the car. Hey, back away. I got it. I'm back. Will this be on television? Morning news, and it bleeds and leaks. Are you currently hiring? I'm starting a TV news business. You, get back! I film breaking stories. Maybe you saw my item this morning with fatal carjacking. No, I mean, I don't have TV. Do you have a cell phone? Yeah. Is that GPS? Yeah. Congratulations, you're hired. Okay. We're taking the next right. Repeat the police. I will never ask you to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. Excuse me. I have something you'll be very excited about.
You have a good eye. I want you to contact me when you have something.
Something like this.
Think of our newscast as a screaming woman running down the street with her throat cut.
You will be seeing me again.
Any unit, residential 211.
A home invasion. You gotta call the cops. And we will, at the right time. We're gonna find the person that drove that car.
I'm Detective Fontieri. I think you withheld information.
That would be a very unprofessional thing for me to do.
It would be murder. I want what you promised me. I want something people can't turn away from.
911, what's your emergency? We want all of it. Oh my God!
I think Lou is inspiring all of us to reach a little higher.
After Sun. That's a good film. A review in the future.
Now, witness the motion picture event that is being called Amazeballs.
Can you try one more time without swearing?
It's go time. Start filming. We want all of it. Oh, fuck.
A man was shot several times. Be surprised if he survived.
You got a seriously weird ass way of looking at shit.
I'm a hard worker. I set high goals. And I've been told that I'm persistent.
What I've been wanting since that record.
That's a weird trailer.
Got something good for us tonight?
We want to warn our viewers that these are extremely graphic images.
What happened in there? You should have walked in and looked like
This film is worth all the positive reception it got from critics.
put us on a track toward growth.
It's a dark comedy. That's what I think.
All my life I want money and power. Respect my mind or die from last child. I pray my dick get big as the Eiffel Tower so I can fuck the world for 72 hours. Goddamn, I feel amazing. Damn, I'm in the matrix. My mind is living on cloud nine and this nine is never on vacation. Start up that Maserati and vroom vroom.
In conclusion, this was an amazing film, and it remains just as relevant today than ever before. And the saddest thing about all of this is that you are never gonna get a movie like this ever again, because Hollywood has completely forgotten what made their movies so good in the first place by focusing more on pushing woke bullshit rather than actually trying to entertain people. Also, that's all I got for today. Go away now and always remember, strike back like a weapon against wokeness.